Y'all see it? Well, we are finally going to go ahead and put this here ultrasonic cleaner to the test. So, first things first, we're going to go ahead and try to hit this ECM first, because the throttle body is going to be really dirty, and so it's going to foul up all of the rubbing alcohol. I'm not too worried about it for the sensors that are on the throttle body. Main reason being, they're designed to be on the intake, which means they're designed to get hot. They're designed to withstand vibration and other things, whereas an ECM is not. So I'm gonna get my chair. Try and do this in the safety of half an hour's worth of sunlight or shade, which is going to come across the way any minute now. So, first things first, we're just going to plug this bad boy in, see if we get power to it, because if we don't get no power, then that's immediately going to stop us from doing anything at all. It's V-bore, so could be good. I mean, we got power. All right. Now, this thing's brand new, ain't never been used before. Looks like the LEDs are not going to be a fan. I like this lid. And then we got the tray, which has some feetsies on it that'll kind of insulate the bulk of everything. But hopefully this will just, yeah, just like that. And then the throttle body, it's a little bigger, so I'm going to have to like turn it over and flip it around a couple of different times. But we are going to be using 91% ISO alcohol. The justification is the water content that's in here is pure, so it should not conduct any electricity. And because there's 91% alcohol, it should evaporate very, very, very quickly. Now, I have a gallon and a pint, or a gallon and a quart. Just pour this nice and gently in there. I do believe the drain is stopped up right now. I'm not real sure what the fill line is. I think there's a fill line in here somewhere, but I don't immediately see it. I'm just going to assume it's this ring that goes around the top, which I'm okay with. That's fine. I did read a little bit of the instructions to kind of know what's going on. I know for sure I'm going to bump that down to about 45°C so that I can shoot for a little over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't want to melt any of this plastic. And this is also rubbing alcohol, which even though there's water in it, 91% rubbing alcohol is absolutely flammable. If you put a match or a flame to this, it's gone. All of it's on fire. And it's alcohol, so it'll be a virtually invisible flame, and you won't see it. So keep the lid handy and keep the lid on when you're doing this. And this isn't me knowing anything about these. This is me absolutely just being kind of commonsensical about it. I hope I have enough alcohol to cover this. I didn't realize it would be bigger than a gallon. Although, I think it might actually be right at a gallon. So I'll have a quart to top up after. Yeah, see, because we're pretty well close to the top. I don't want to go too deep, because this does warn about it being hot, and because of the nature of it being a vibrating machine, it is going to cause ripples and potential turbulence on the surface, which could bubble and splash, and you definitely do not want to take any of this stuff to any part of your body ever at all, period. Okay, so that right there has all of the pins submerged. It has the entire circuit board submerged on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and, well, we'll do this first. All right, so we're going to knock the temperature down. It says we're at 22°C right now. So we're going to go ahead and turn that on. And then we're going to give it a few minutes. We're going to go ahead and put the lid on so that we can try to mitigate some of the evaporation from the alcohol. You guys know alcohol evaporates incredibly quickly for good reason, but the hope here is that we don't evaporate too much of it off just on heat. So we'll let this come up a little bit. I think when I see 30°C on here, I'm gonna go ahead and give her the beans on the vibratory ultrasonic portion, and then we'll probably let that run for, I'm gonna say 5 minutes to start with. I'm gonna throw all these jugs over here. I don't need none of these. They're not really too valuable. The top on them's good because it has that snap lid, but snap lids only do so much if you don't have like a pointed, spout from it, so you don't get real control. You have to like start squirting and see where it's squirting in order to like, direct it to a good place to get where you're trying to get on it. Passat's still here, still having a great time. Sun's already starting to come up. I've lost my shade. I'm starting to not be able to see any of this here. All right, so you guys can't see it really, but you can kind of see the outline of the 45. You can see it's at 22 and the other one's blinking at 30. We're just going to hang out for a little bit and see what happens and how long this takes. I decided to use our mobile volleyball net things to make a little sunshade. Look at me. Now I'm sitting here, chilling on my stool, just watching stuff happen. And we're up to 23°C, so it looks like it's going to be a bit of a slow heater. I've been fiddling with this sunshade thing for, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 minutes, and it's only picked up that 1 degree, but at least it's coming up. That means the heater element's working. Now I've got some shade. I put the silver side towards the sun to try and reflect some of it, but man, I can already still feel the heat radiating off the back of this thing. Like, it's already noticeably warmer, but it's much better not having all that damn sun on me. Oh, goodness. So, it's going to be a pretty boring video, I imagine. Until this stuff gets nice and warmed up, it's not really going to be too much to write home about. I mean, obviously, soaking the ECM circuit board in the alcohol to begin with is already a solvent, so it's already going to start the process of trying to loosen up anything that's inside of any of the connections or any of the trash that's gotten in there. I got the tune on the wagon, and pretty well as soon as I got that tune done, it decided it didn't want to do that, and it went into limp mode. As I'm sure if you followed the channel for any kind of time, especially the last 2 or 3 months, you'll have seen a lot of videos of me out here trying to work on it just for me to not be able to make it happen. Well, one of my ideas was when we ordered this to clean that there throttle body, I was like, well, shit, let me throw the ECM in here first and see if I can rattle or clear out the corrosion that's in the sensor that's embedded in the circuit board. So depending on how this goes, I may fix the car with this. I doubt it, but it's worth a shot at this rate, because if I go ahead and ultrasonic clean it and do the 10-minute run, give it a good thorough cleaning, I'll be able to say that it's not it's at least not dirt or corrosion buildup. And that's a big deal, because I think a lot of the problems that car has come from water damage and corrosion from where it's gotten into the pins and the pigtails. And, you know, you can see here, there's rust on the edges of the case that had started to migrate inward towards the case. And the problem here is that Volkswagen, because of the way they did the ECM in the Passat up in the rain tray inside of that plastic box, they did not seal the ECM with double-sided tape like they do the Golfs and the Jettas. And so it's not as good. Yeah, can't really do anything to it or about it. I might snatch a random 2-liter ECM. I've got a couple of them sitting on top of the box. I may pull one apart and use the shell with the seal to put back in there to try and reduce this from ever happening again, if this happens to fix it. But like I said, you can see the discoloration up around the corners and stuff. This is like corrosion starting to flake and show up. And so the thought process is, if there was moisture inside of that circuit board, the little itty bitty altitudinal pressure sensor, barometric pressure sensor, it's essentially a map sensor on the circuit board of the ECM. It basically could have drawn in corrosion based on the interior of the sensor. The way it works, the materials inside of it, they could be prone to corrosion in a higher moisture environment. And since Volkswagen was ridiculously stupid about sealing this ECM, or rather not sealing this ECM versus every other car they've ever produced, we are potentially here with it. So I guess we'll see how that goes. Hasn't ticked up any more temperature, so I guess this really is going to be a bit of a slow burn, because I've been sitting here 5 minutes and it hasn't done anything. It could also be that it won't get that warm because it's alcohol. It may evaporate off faster than what it can heat, and if that's the case, we should probably turn it on sooner than later for the vibratory part. Let's go ahead and turn it down. Like I said, I think I'm going to do 5 minutes. They said not to run the machine for more than an hour at a time because it can damage the internal components. I believe that. The amount of vibration that this thing should put off and the temperatures it's going to build on the interior, it's a thing. Oh, it's a lot quieter than I thought it was going to be. That's beautiful. Oh, yeah. Let me get around here. See all the floaties and bubblies. Yeah, I'm definitely seeing stuff on the circuit board bubbling itself. So I guess we'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and put that lid back on and try to keep as much of that alcohol sealed in there as what's possible. We'll give her the 5 minutes and we'll see what happens. Yeah, it looks pretty good. This little brown guy, that's the guy that we're trying to clear. Apparently there is some kind of an opening, a orifice, a port or something inside of that thing that we're gonna potentially clean with this. I can't really get a good look, but it looks like some of the corrosion is coming off of the pins, so that's a good start. I'm going to send it for another 5 minutes and see what happens. Hiya! Well, Everything still looks okay. I guess I'll have to do a part 2 for this, and it'll be when I finally fix the car. But for the most part, a lot of the rust seems to be, I mean, there's still a little bit on the edging right there, but it took it off of the surface for a lot of it. And a lot of this aluminum looks pretty good now. So we're just gonna sit this right here, just like that. I'm gonna put it in the sun so that the sun can kind of put a little bit of warm on it. Now for the fun part. It is time. Let's see how much of this is gonna fit in here. Not a lot. You know what? We'll go ahead and add some more. Get it to bring the level up a little higher. That way all the combustion channels, air veins, and everything are down inside of it. And then I'll just flip it so that this part here is down in the water, and I'll run it again. And we'll be back when it's done. We're going to go ahead and put it on there for 20 minutes. And then I think that way there's just a little something trying to resist that little bit of evaporation. Does it look goofy? Yes. But is it effective? Absolutely. Hey, look at that. We're getting some coloration change in the water. Alright, so let's... Oh yeah, look at the grime that's starting to pour out. Oh boy. I like it. Yeah. Yeah. You see how it's starting to clear it up? Ooh, we getting places, folks. Alright, well, I'm going to let this cool for a little bit. I'm going to let the throttle body dry just a little bit. I'm going to wipe the plate down real quick before we go. But I'm going to let the ultrasonic portion of this cool just a little bit before we get too far into anything else. We're going to keep letting the box itself. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. So this is why we use the ultrasonic cleaner. All of this stuff was so damn caked on. And I'm not saying that a little bit of, just soaking it inside of some alcohol or something to that effect wouldn't loosen all this stuff up too, but it doesn't do it as well to just sit. This reached inside and got everything, period. Yes, we'll take that. Yes, we will. Get in there real nice and deep like, boy. Yeah, I ain't looking where you do that, boy. They're looking good. Looking real good. Get a little bit more of that alcohol out of there. Oh yeah. Okay, so we're gonna let this sit for a little bit. We're gonna let the temperature on the thingy thing come back up a little bit more. And then we're gonna flip this thing basically so that this is gonna go down into the alcohol. And then we're gonna set it up again. And again, you know, you can kind of sort of see that it's trying to show you that it's set for 75C and actually at 45C. It's no big deal. Go ahead and wipe up this little bit of alcohol before I end up catching my nuts on fire while I'm standing here. Oh, I don't want to burn the nuts down. But anyway, as you can see, an ultrasonic cleaner is valuable. These things are incredible at reaching inside of these little pins, and that's the thing. Vibrations travel, and the denser the material they're trying to travel through, the more effectively they will be able to travel through them. There is a limit, of course, because, you know, eventually you're going to hit a rate of incoming energy to make the vibration, not being able to travel long distances through the density of the materials like metal. If you hit a piece of metal with a hammer, like let's just say a boat, for example. If you're working on a 200 plus foot long boat and you're up at the front at the bow and you smack the bottom of that thing with a hammer, you'll be able to hear that hammer strike through the air better than you would through the boat. But if you stuck your ear to the side of the boat at the back end of it, at the transom, or whatever they call it back there. I don't even know if I have the bow right. I'm terrible with boat terminology, but basically, if you're at the front and you stick your ear to the back and you smack the front with the hammer, you will hear it, but it won't be loud because the metal will absorb and disperse a lot of those vibrations. So there's a limit to how much vibration can really be helpful. But when it comes to cleaners and stuff like this, it's a fantastic thing. It's a technology that I believe the jewelry industry has been using for a very long time. Anytime you go and you see that little thing with the basket with the blue fluid in it, and they drop your rings or your watch or bracelets and stuff in there, and it comes out all shiny and pristine looking, that's one of these. So just in case you maybe didn't know what an ultrasonic cleaner was and you had thoughts about it or whatever, but this is essentially what it is. But there's not really much more to record for this process. You've seen that it's effective, and it's going to let me get a lot of this stuff cleaned up real good. So like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe we'll do some videos and see just how badass this thing can be at cleaning stuff. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and cut it here because the rest of it's boring. And then I'll do a little video on putting the throttle body in, starting the car up, and all that stuff. It'll be a video for the next day after this one goes up. I'm trying to shorten the videos down a little bit, but still make some kind of real relative accomplishment with some of this stuff. It's really easy to record 4 hours and get nothing done because as a single person out here working on this stuff, I can't be like, hey, go get this or hey, go get that. It's like, oh shit, I have to go get this. I have to go get that. A lot of you out there know exactly what I'm talking about, but you know, we do the best we can with what we got, right? Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Go follow all my buddies. Never Done Projects, Metal Art Customs, Lone Wrench Garage, Oh, shit. Adam, I forgot your channel name. I'm sorry. Rusted Metal Garage. See, I remembered. If you haven't seen it, go look at Pandora over on Metal Art Custom and Rusted Metal Garage, because guys, I'd never seen a Biscayne before to begin with, but then I saw this one, and I think it's one of the nicest, most beautiful Biscayne restorations, modifications I've ever seen in my life, because I went down a rabbit hole and like, what the hell's a Biscayne, and why is it all special? And, you know, Adam has talked about people telling him he couldn't do certain things with that car, but he's pulling it off. Well, I had curiosity as to why, so X-frame chassis and all kinds of other cool stuff, man. It's a really cool car. It's a really, really, really cool bit of history, and it looks sharp. Like, it reminds me of the black or the green Hornet car. That black, I think it was an Impala, maybe. I can't remember off the top of my head, but like, the Biscayne gives me a very similar vibe and presence to the green Hornet car. But I think the Biscayne looks a bit classier, if that makes any sense. But anyway, go follow all my buddies, give everybody a shout, go like their stuff, comment on them, go ask them questions. We will see you guys next time. Thanks for coming, and talk to you next time. Bye.